Today is Sunday. Sunday. Thank God. Today we are on step 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for the knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry the message, to carry that out. So, good message. Okay, before we get into it, let us open up with a moment of silence for the addict who's still suffering in and outside of the walls, and the ones that's found their way and clean and having all kind of things going on good in their lives. All right, y'all. Okay, we're on step 11. And before I want to get started, I want to give some shout out to the ones that's struggling, keeping you in prayer, hoping that you continue to find your way, or what are you doing wrong, or what do you need to learn or know. I want to give a shout out to the 12 Steps of Narcotics Anonymous program that has helped many peoples in their lives, changing everything about themselves. I wanted to say to all the treatment facilities, inpatients, outpatients, the group homes for men's and women's, for the therapists, for the counselors. I always have a lot of respect for you all because you get up every day trying to find a way to help another individual that is struggling through their addiction. And for that, I am grateful for you all. And to my counselor, I always call his name, Sterling White. You are a big part of my process, my recovery, my growth, me finding out who I am. You know, you helped me a lot, and I love you for that. You know, and you study doing your thing after all these years of in recovery, being a therapist and a counselor. I really have the most up high in respect for you. So we're going to get on with step 11. Before I get into that, I always want to give a shout out to the ones who have the mothers and the fathers and sisters and brothers who have lost a child or a mother or a father or a niece or a nephew or a sister and brother through drugs or overdoses. Anybody that come up on this site, you know, when I pray for everybody all over the world that has dealt with losing a loved one through an addiction or through an overdose. It's not easy for the ones that's left behind because we have to deal with the grief of losing someone tragically over drugs and alcohol and overdoses. You know, and I wanted to say, you know, God is still with you all. People still love you. You have to carry on. You have to learn about the disease before it happened to someone else or a friend of yours, and you have a better understanding. You know, and that's what's so good about these steps. It helps us, and this step right here for me is dealing with spiritual awareness. And step 11 is dealing with spiritual awareness. And you know, it says when we sought through prayer. And assault means attempting to find the desire to obtain and achieve the help that we need. You know, to have a relationship and to get into a point to where we sought, we looking, We want to find what we've been missing. We want to deal with what we've been missing. And we want to get back this connection with our higher power. So we sought through prayer, just talking to him, just having a conscious contact with a God of our understanding. You know, I must tell you, each person that's dealing with this step, you know, I can only tell you about my God. You know, and my God has never let me down, never has failed me, always give me the opportunities for us to find a better way to learn and find out about ourselves, that we are teachable and we are learnable, to find out a way to deal with this disease. And this disease is called an addiction. And the addiction is very powerful and and I hate this disease. I tell you, every time I come on this site, I hate the disease that almost destroyed people's lives, almost demeaned us to where we thought we were nobody or no good. And the fact that it did take other people's lives, you know, and it's very painful, it's very hurtful that we have to watch somebody we love die from this an addiction or overdose, and people don't think that the loved ones that's left behind have to deal with something mighty great, and that's losing a loved one that's been a part of your life due to overdose and addictions. And, you know, we have so many different addictions. We have the alcohol addiction. We have the heroin addiction. We have the pills, what you call Adderall. And then we got fentanyl. And then we got other addictions. We got, you know, all these addictions. We got cutting addictions. We got lying addiction. But the main one is just disease of an addiction. And it's very, very painful and hurtful to us. But one thing about the 12-step program, it helps us find a way out. And that's the whole purpose of working the steps. And step 11, man, you know, when you go through 1 through 10, now you willing and open and you ready to see, well, me, I was ready to see if these steps really, really worked. You know, I was one you had to convince me, and I was one, hey, Robin, baby, how you doing? I know for the steps really helped me. And I know if it helped me, it helped. You know, when I go to a convention, I know it have helped millions across the world. Millions of people across the world. And that's amazing that we can find a place in our life, even in recovery, of the I can't do. I can't do drugs. I can't drink. I can't do none of that. So we have to find a whole new world and where we can fit in and belong and not be judged and just work a program and just feel good about ourselves, no matter what we're going through for that day or no matter what we're going through. You know, I'm so glad that when I came into treatment, and I know you all have to be too, because everybody's treatment was different for them, you know, but my treatment was amazing for me. Hey, Gertrude, how you doing, honey? My treatment was amazing for me because, you know, I had so much bitterness. I had to work through hate. I had to work through jealousy. I had to work with detachment. I had to work with disowning. I had to work with forgiving. I had to work with a lot of different things that we don't even think that we dealing with. We think sometimes, you know, or hurt, or how somebody done us, or how good we was to somebody, and they didn't return that, you know, and that's called hurt, you know, and we had to deal with all of that. And we can't keep sneaking and using and think, you know, things is not going to happen behind it, because it will. Hey, Mike, how you doing? And I had to learn for myself. I had to learn for myself. Now, this step 11, this step 11 means we sought. And I had a girl say to me, Renee, what do that step 11 mean? I said, it's always It's dealing with two peoples, and that's you and God. And you got to sort through prayer. Salt means looking. I'm defining what I need to find to help me get a better connection with my high power. And when I sought, I was seeking and I sought to find the connections and deal with what I was dealing with my high power. So I sought through prayer. I prayed to him. I do that now. And I'm just so glad. Today was a good day, but today was an eye-opener too. I had a good day. My sister Selena Green, evangelist Selena Green, she preached the word today. And I'm always blessed when she preached because it takes so long before she can preach. So when she did, it just warms my body, and so many people love to hear her. And I love my sister. And you have to love your brother regardless of whatever you went through in life, whatever you didn't agree with in life. But family should always mean something than just being family, and I'm so glad that working these steps taught me how to have a better connection with God. When I sought through prayer, I'm looking for something. I need an opening. God, I need an opening somewhere because my ways had just corrupt me and messed me up. So I need some help. And I'm so glad the main things that I worked on was that bitterness and that hatefulness and jealousy. And I'm so glad I'm not broken. I am so glad I am still not broken. And what do you mean, Renee? Broken? That means, when I sought through prayer, I wanted God to fix me. I wanted him to take his time and help me with nurturing me or help y'all nurturing y'all. So you have to find a way to I always tell people, if you don't have a relationship with yourself and start nurturing yourself, even when you're going through these steps, you'll lose it. You have to stay in contact and in tune with yourself. And that's one gratifying thing that happened to me. I never knew me like I know me today. I didn't take a chance on knowing me. I just took a chance on drugs, alcohol or pills or whatever I could get high on. Hey, Wanda Kincaid. Hey, Wanda. Good seeing you. I just had to find a way to deal with. You see, when I say addictions, I talk about the disease of an addiction. Don't get me wrong. When I get on these steps, it's all about the drug, the disease of an addiction. But it's also about other addictions that we picked up along the way before we became even to know the drug addiction. But this topic is about addiction, the disease of an addiction. And when I talk about the drugs and alcohol, I can talk about holding on to resentment. That became addiction for me. I was good at that. I was good at always thinking about how you done me, how you hurt me, how you misused me. I held on to that because most good peoples do. Most good peoples, they hang on to, when they said sought through prayer, I needed it. When I got to this step, I was ready. I was open-minded. I was ready to give in. I was ready to the inner ear, and I sought through prayer. I looked for something. I looked for a connection. I looked for an opening because I sought for something that I needed that I was missing along the way. And it says prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God. Well, meditation, I do that today. Meditation means you got to give yourself some time. You got to meditate. You got to go to a place where you can have quietness and have a connection with your high power. Talk to him like you talk to your friend, like you talk to your mother. And he became my best friend. He became a best friend because I didn't want to lose this friend ever again. I did not want to lose the God of my understanding that helped me when I was crawling, when I was hitting rock bottom. He took me out of things that I put myself in, so I don't never want to use that. Meditation is very important to me. If you don't see me for a week or a couple of weeks, Renee is somewhere. It ain't always busy. I'm busy with me. Sometimes I get to me and I have to steal away because every day we go through emotional trials. We go through feelings. We go through hurt. We go through letdown. We go through the crying spell. We go through the depression. We go through the neglect. How did this person do that? But see, when I sought for everything. I wanted to find a way to deal with me for the first time in my life. And when you sought through prayer, and most people who come in treatment, they come in treatment because they know that they've been out of order. They know that they did some things that they shouldn't have done. They know that they need to find a place and a God of their understanding to help them along this new journey. And this new journey is called a new way to live without the use of the drug and all the other stuff that come with it. So when I saw through and I said meditated, meditation means, when I was thinking about meditation, I needed to improve. I needed to strengthen myself in the areas that I hadn't strengthened before. I had to find a way to get in. Hey, Auntie Wanda, I had to find a way to learn everything. And, I wanted to change my life. It wasn't no more, trying to make you like me, trying to be phony and act like I'm okay when I'm really broken. Some people are really broken. I see it all the time. I don't say nothing, but, only thing I do is pray. Because I know what it is to be broken or to be jealous or to be envy. I know that because I was that. And when I see it, I don't say much. Anybody that know me, unless I'm on here talking or go to a meeting and speaking, I don't say much because I carry a lot of stuff where I didn't have room before to carry. I carry a lot of stuff, but when you got a high power that's greater than yourself, that you can talk to, that you can relate to. And see, that's what this meditation to improve. We need to improve our conscious contact with God. Because a lot of us, when I came in, when I was coming up, I knew about God. I always knew about God. That's one thing Miss Peggy taught us. I always knew about God. But one thing I had to learn is how to receive God, how to relate to God, how to get a door open where I can have a connection with God, because we can talk to God, especially when things is going wrong in our life. And then, a lot of us say, oh God, I need you. Oh God, can you help me? Oh God, I'm sorry. Can you get me out of this? But see, he's that type of man that I love. And it's hard to find a real man. You ain't gonna never find a man like God, but you can find a godly man that, he's still gonna make mistakes. I'm still gonna make mistakes because one thing I know, ain't nobody here perfect. We just learn how to get better and deal with our lives and deal with this journey that we own. And that journey is not to be what we used to be better than we were. That's what I say to myself. I want to be better than I was. I done did the drugs. I done did the prostitute. I done did everything in the book. Everything that you think that's ain't in the book, I done it. So I done it all. And he still allowed me to live, to find my purpose in life, and to tell y'all that it's a better way to live without living up under somebody else's shadow or trying to please somebody else. But in the case of pleasing somebody else, that's why I needed a contact with God, because that was my problem too, along with the addiction. My problem was trying to please everybody. You know, I did that when I was a kid. You know, I used to take money from my daddy and go to school. I used to keep money. People didn't understand why I kept hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Well, all my life I've been around money. My mother and daddy had money. And my auntie that's on here now know that. So we kept money. I would give $100 bill like it was $1. You know, because I was so used to having money, but not knowing that that money that I had was going to deceive me because of the way I was thinking. You know, how I could go and take money and give to peoples and let them get drunk at school, took a whole case of liquor, and all the kids was drunk at school, and I got in trouble for that. But that was people pleasing. Wanted everybody to like me. I wanted everybody to think that I was important. I wanted everybody to think I had it like that. You know, but I was still a child trying to find my way, but picking up other addictions. And I didn't know that. I didn't know nothing about the 12 steps. I didn't know nothing about recovery. All I knew was how to use and drink. That's all I knew about. How to smoke my weed, how to pop my pills, you know, and how to deal in that life situation with the drugs and alcohol and all the other addictions that I picked up along the way. So when I sought and through prayer with God, and I had to do meditation. I do that all the time. If anybody that know me or anybody that's in my household knows me, when I go to my room, they don't bother me. When they come in there and they see I'm reading and I'm to myself and my door is closed, and I'm having a conscious contact. I mean, now I'm conscious of all the things that I have done. I have a good conscience now, because everything I think about is not negative. It's not pain. It's not hurt. It's not rejected. It's not denying. Everything I think about is nurturing. And so you have to keep that daily contact with God. And that's what helps me. That's what helped me. That's what helps me all the time. My attitude got better. My demeanor got better. This new way in this journey for me is very pleasing and very rewarding, because I found something out about me that I didn't like about me, that I knew that I had to change. You know, and this applies to everybody. This just ain't applying to me. This applies to everybody, because everybody gonna go through the same feeling I'm going through. If you didn't have a drug addiction, well, you had a man addiction, you had sex addiction, you had some kind of addiction, you had some kind of depression. I know I had depression. I was depressed, didn't want to live. You know, I was just messed up. Then we have loneliness addiction. So I had to keep people around me sometime to get high, because I didn't like to be alone. And then sometimes I did like to be alone. And that's when I knew that I had the depression. You know, so when I tell you that everybody has a little taste of me was in me, you had it in you too. And that's why I keep it real when I come on here. I ain't trying to falsify nothing, ain't trying to please nobody else. I'm only telling you what I know about the disease of an addiction. And the disease of an addiction, I have you sometime up there where even when you get clean, you have to watch yourself. Because remember, I ain't been clean. I was using. So now that I have this, I'm working on that step 12. And when I came to steps 12, I wanted all of it. I wanted to search it up. I wanted to read about it. I wanted to let it fit me to where I can find where I'm at or what I needed in this step. And I needed everything. I needed everything in this step, because I sought, I looked. I wanted to know. I wanted God. I needed the nurturing. So I sought through prayer. I kept praying. And even when I was using, I was a praying addict. But somewhere down the line, he knew where I was going, but I yet didn't know. I didn't know. All I knew is that working these steps was opening some doors that I had closed on myself many years ago. And now that I come into this new journey of a new way of living, you know, in the recovery of Narcotics Anonymous program, I realized something. I realized all the stupid stuff I done. I realized all the peoples I hurted. So when I saw through prayer, I needed that. I'm conscious now. Okay, God, I'm conscious. I ain't got no drugs. I ain't got no alcohol. I ain't got no pills. All I got is the God of my understanding, and you need to help me. So I'm going to search, and I'm seeking, and I sought that I needed help through prayer and meditation. And meditation, hey, Lorraine, how you doing? Hey, Churi, how you doing? I knew. And see, people get up here, and, and the world we in now, it's terrible, and if you don't stay grounded in your mind and in your spiritual part, you'll lose some pieces of you. So that's why I tell you, this step for me was an amazing step. Step one was amazing too, because I admitted that I was powerless over my addiction, and I knew my life had become unmanageable. I had no problem with that. I had no problem. Only problem I had is stop using for good. That was the only problem I had. But surrendering, when I totally surrendered, I wanted to surrender. Because I was tired. I was tired, man. And I've always been a giving person. I wasn't never a dirty person, but I picked up some dirty habits in my addiction. So, when it says improve, I had to improve my conscious contact. You know what? Yeah, I needed that. Because I didn't even have a conscious contact with God before. All I did was pray to him. But my mind wasn't clean. It wasn't regulating right. Everything was going wrong in my mind. So I had to find a way, and I had to have a personal contact with the God of my understanding. And praying only for the knowledge. What knowledge? Yeah, I needed to know. The knowledge that can help me in any way that I could help myself. Of his will. Him, that conscious contact that I'm having with him, and me and him having I call it a doggy dog. Because I can talk to God like ghetto. I can talk, he's still gonna hear me. But I can talk to God and keep it real with God. See, he's one of them people that we don't have to falsify or pretend that everything is okay, because he know whenever we think everything is okay and we pretend, he knows everything ain't okay. Because he knows. He's the high power. He knows. So this step was a God gift from him for me, because I had to understand him through my connection that I sought for prayer with him, and me and him had that going on. Me and God had it going on because I was praying to him about everything. Take this away. Take this away. I know, God, it ain't going to be easy because, it's been a part of me all my life. But somehow find a way. I'm seeking for you. I sought through prayer for you to kind of delete the things that had me bound. Delete them a little bit at a time. It ain't going to be no overnight, because I didn't pick them habits up overnight. I had to find a way. I had to find a way that I could get better. And when I came into treatment, I found a way. I found that I don't have to carry everybody. I found that I don't have to carry all this weight. I don't have to worry every day of what somebody done to hurt me or what I done to hurt somebody else. I have to include myself in that, because I hurted a lot of people through that addiction. That addiction would take you and carry you to places that you would have never thought. If somebody else would have did the things that we did to ourselves, they probably would have been gone a long time ago. But this addiction is not my friend. And once I realized that long as I don't use, long as I don't pick up, and long as I start working on the other behaviors and the other addictions that I had, I could make it. I really realized I was making it. I was really getting up going to a meeting. I was making it. And sometimes when I get up and I would go through a meeting, I was drowning inside. I was drowning, but I couldn't pick up. I could not use. I was drowning. And you know, sometimes when people's walking to a meeting, they be drowning. We don't see it because we as addicts, we know how to hide our feelings. But it's one thing that I do know that we learned in recovery. We can hide it, but then turn around and talk about it in front of people, in front of newcomers. And that's the best gift. If not to hold that stuff in, not to sit there in your house and be lonely and be depressed and be wanting to take a drink. I dealt with that, the cravings. The cravings was so bad because my body itself wanted to put them drugs and alcohol in me. It didn't want me to live. It didn't want me to learn. It didn't want me to get a connection with my higher power. It didn't want me to seek and find because it was scared. Because if I seek and find, then maybe, just maybe the possibility that I would wake up. I would get a conscious contact with God. I would start learning things about me. I would start looking at things about us. We start finding things that we didn't even like about us. And it here wasn't the little things. There was a lot of things that I didn't like about me that had been hidden. That I thought that I had control. And when I realized, when I saw through prayer and meditation, I didn't have the control. Only control I have now is that I know I can't pick up. I can control that because I'll never use again. And I've been saying that for many, many years. I would never go back to the pain and misery. I would never go back to the deception of, tricking myself. I would never go back into that atmosphere of letting something take over my life like drugs, like behaviors, like character defects. I would never go back to that because this nurturing part that I found in these steps, and as I got that contact with God, God started talking to me and things got better. Because see, Satan will talk to you too, just like God will talk to you. But you got to know the difference because Satan, he'll make you think things is one way really when it really is not that way. Satan will have you thinking, look at all this time you've been clean. Look at you. Look at you. You still ain't got this. You still ain't got this. And I kept on listening to God. Every time Satan said something to me, every time he wanted me to get high, every time he wanted me to steal, every time he wanted me to call up and have me some sex with somebody. And then God said, Renee, you working on something. Renee, you working on something. You working on change, baby. So you got to remember that, Satan don't want you to stay clean. Because if you stay clean, and then you'll move him out the way. You'll learn and find a better way to always move him out the way. And he's the type, he don't want you to move him out the way. He want to be the part of your destructing your life and causing you to always doubt yourself, causing you to always look at things like it ain't really is. Satan ain't my friend neither. So drugs is Satan to me. So he ain't my friend. And that's why I tell everybody I hate this disease because I have cried at many funerals. I have went to many hospitals and I've seen some of my friends die over the addiction, over an overdose of drugs. I mean, people that I love, people that really knew me, people that really understood me, people that saw me clean. I saw them clean and now they ain't here no more. That's very painful because somebody don't say nothing. It don't mean they don't feel nothing. And that's what people don't understand. Some people can give out hurt. Like, how you gonna give a positive to a person and then turn around and find negativity in that? So I'm so glad I'm not still broken. I'm so glad that I learned how to forgive. I'm so glad that he took me from a place where I needed to start loving on me. He took you to a place and a purpose through these steps to show you and let it be an eye opener. That's why that conscious contact with God, man, that's powerful. That's power. The word of forgiveness is powerful. Because I didn't know how to forgive. I thought I was living better on not forgiving and hating. And I realized when I started doing these steps, I had to take some pills for everything. I did. I took a pills for my nervous. I took a pills because I was depressed. I was taking medicine because this and that. I was taking medicine for this and that. But then when I came into the treatment of Narcotics Anonymous program, and I started working on myself, and at first I didn't believe y'all was clean. At first, no, y'all lying. Y'all ain't clean. Y'all using. Y'all just want me to think that y'all dressing good, and you got a little nice car, and that you got some jewelry on, but y'all ain't living clean, and then somebody said to me, hey, keep on until the miracle happens. Yeah. And I got stuck. Said, just keep on coming until the miracle happens. I said, oh, okay. Because remember, I had to reset this, because this was always negativity. This was always holding that hurt, holding that trust. And I said, okay, let me see. Let me go to a meeting. Let me do this 90 days for 90 meetings. 90 meetings for 90 days. Let me see. Everything was a must-see for me, because my whole life was always doubting, always confusion, always, thinking somebody was on something. So I had to keep going. I had to say, okay, let me see. Let me go to a meeting. Wow, Renee, you dressing up. I always was dressed up and clean, but Renee, you dressing it up. Oh, okay, why? Why I'm looking in the mirror and I don't see the ugliness no more? Why I'm looking in the mirror and I don't see me not trusting the process no more? Not trusting somebody that's in a program that's been in there before me, that's been working a program. Okay, let me keep going to a meeting and see what's going to happen. So when I was on this step, the pressure contact with God, I knew I had that, because me and him had it going on. Because I talk to God from the time I get up out of the bed all through the day, like I do today. I never stop nothing. I need this man every day of my life. I need this man in my life more than I need anybody. Hey, godmama, good to see you. Girl and boy, that's my godmama. I needed this man. I needed God in my life. And then when I become clean and all of a sudden I'm working a program, and said we saw through prayer and meditation, step 11, to improve our conscious contact with God. Okay, so I knew I lacked in that. I knew I wasn't praying and having a relationship with God, because I was allowing Satan to come in and make me think this way, make me do this, and make me, I wasn't giving Satan all the power. I played a part in that power too. I trusted this Satan. I trusted him. So I had to turn my faith around and start having a conscious contact with God. So I sought through prayer. I prayed to him. I needed him. And then when I got clean and started going and, going to meetings and stuff like that, then I got cancer. Then I got cancer. And Satan told me, okay, where your God at now? Where he at? You did all this. You've been clean all these years. Almost 29 years at that time. Where your God at now? You got cancer. You got diabetes. Where you at? Where your God at now? After all the times you've been going to church, you singing in the choir, you pay your tithes, you do what you need to do, you kept him in your life, going to meeting. Where your God at now? And I just listen. I just listen, because now I learn what that contact and meditation means in this step. So now I had to get more, because now I was going through some trials and tribulation. I had to get more. I didn't want no doubt to set in. Cancer ain't always a death sentence. But I had to learn how to, hey, Selena, Evangelist Selena Green, my sister, you gave a good word today. And I love you, and you're awesome. And she's on Tuesday night. If you want to get blessed, Tuesday night is 7 o'clock. I always get blessed. Very anointing. I thank God. I needed him. Satan now checking me. Satan telling me, after all this you done went through, you sought for God in prayer. You did your meditation. You've been doing your meditation. You have a constant contact with your buddy, with God. Okay, now you got this conversation going on. Now you ain't using no more drugs, but now you go to the doctor and you got cancer. You got kidney cancer. Where he at now? But see, had I not learned the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous program, I wouldn't have had nothing to fight with. And see, these steps helped me get closer to God than I ever been. And so all the stuff he was telling me, and I let him come in and set in, because I'm at a low point in my life. I'm at a low point in my life now, because now I'm at an unknown. I'm dealing with cancer. I'm dealing with diabetes. I'm still working through my program. I'm still recovering. God, Mama, remember, she was there for me. And my sister and Auntie Wanda and people that love me. Y'all remember, So when Satan said where he at now, so then I had to go back to my steps. I had to go back to the conscious contact with God and talk to God. And I let Satan come in and I listen to him. Now let God come in and I'm going to see who outweigh the more. And when it all boiled down, God said, baby, Renee, you think I put you through all this to take you now? Do you think I'm finna leave you now? When you at your greatest gift? I'm not finna leave you. Cause you've been loving on me too much. Satan wants you to think this is the end, but you've been loving on me too much. Me and you been having too many conversations, girl. Me and you been praying every day, girl. Me and you been having a conscious contact with each other. You let me in your life. And you let me move your life to a point where it wasn't going to do nothing but get better. Trust me. He said, trust me. No matter what the outcome look. I never knew what, even my godmama would say that. Curlin would say that. My mama would say that. Walk by faith and not by sight. And that's been a big part in my life right today. Right today. Big part in my life. Because the sight can fool you. Going to that doctor and they tell me I got kidney cancer. I'm in the greatest peak of my life. I'm clean. I can't pick up no matter what. Oh, what? You telling me I got cancer? You gonna have to take this kidney out? What you say? Say no. Well, now, how you feel? How you like that? Now, what you gonna do? You've been serving him and you've been listening to him and you've been calling yourself, you and him been having a conscious contact with each other. You've been improving your life through the prayer and salt of God. Okay, and praying for only the knowledge for His will. For us to carry, and I had to figure, okay, what's the praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. And I was really on this step at that time. And I had to go back. That's what it means. You can't doubt God and say He's the head of your life. Even when the sight look bad. Can't do that. Because I started letting Satan in and I was clean and I was doing good the peak of my life. And all of a sudden I go to the doctor and you know, I knew something was wrong because at that time I was working in Racine in real estate. I've been in real estate all my life, you know, and I was going to Racine every day, running 275 units, you know, and I was going, and this one day, man, I got nausea at my stomach. I thought I was finna pass out. So I got off the expressway and all of a sudden, you know, I thought I was dying and I had to pull over. I said, God, come on, where you at? What's going on with me? Come on, God, you usually tell me what's going on with me. See, a godly person gonna get the answers that they looking for. Only when you have an open mind and the willingness to listen. And so I'm in step 11 this time. I've been studying step 11. I've been having a conscious contact with God. And you know, I feel so good because one thing I learned about the connection with God, I was having it every day. You know, and that's something that I wasn't used to. You know, sometimes I put God on the shelf and leave him there until I needed him or wanted him to do something in my life. And now all of a sudden I'm having a constant contact with God and finding things out about me and about him. It wasn't just finding things out about me. I found a lot of things out about God that I didn't know. I didn't know the midst of when you feeling at your lowest point, the midst of when you going through, the sight of what you see somebody told you that's going on with you. But then I learned about the God of my understanding because he was telling me in one ear, I got you. Trust me. Renee, when you sit in this car seat, and you start your car up and you put your hands on that steering wheel, you got enough trust that you're going push that gas pedal and it's going to take you where you want to go long as you driving. Well, now you can move out the way. Let me do the driving. This ain't your time to drive now. This is my time to drive. And I mean, wow, you know, that's how God and me had our relationship. You know, take something real simple that I took for granted for many times before in my life. He was like, move out the driving way. This too much. Only I can handle that. All you got to do is keep doing what you're doing. All you got to do is have the knowledge to carry the message and tell what you're going through. Tell you how the program works. Tell people how these steps help somebody. Say, you just move out the way. You know, I let you drive for a long, long time. He had to point that to me. That's why I said it wasn't about me learning about me, but it was me learning about God. All at the same time. How I was dealing with rejection. How I was dealing with hate. How I was dealing with letting go of things. How I was dealing of holding on to things. How I was dealing of always nurturing people but never got the same nurturing back. And he said, nah, I let you drive. I let you drive. I let you get high. I let you drink. I let you hit rock bottom. He said, I'll let you think the way you wanted to think. I'll let you hurt yourself over and over again. And then you had a conscious contact with me. You brought me into your life. That's what this step is about, a spiritual awareness. And this step said, oh, I let you know, you came and you sought for me and we prayed together and you had a conscious contact with me. That means everything is clear. You're open. You let me come in and you think I will leave you hanging now? Yes, you have. Yes, you have changed your life. Yes, you have been clean. And, but it's time for you to get out the driving seat. I let you drive for over 30 years. I let you handle it your way. I let you hit your rock bottoms, but I picked you back up. But you didn't think about that at that time. You didn't think about all the times you went without. You didn't go without eating. You didn't go without no gas in your car. You didn't get homeless. Or I think about when your lights was cut off, how I got them cut back on. See, I had to think. I had to, that's why I said that this step is a spiritual awareness, because I learned something just not about me, but I picked up a lot of stuff about the God of my understanding. He would never leave me. And when that lady told me I had cancer at the peak of my life, when everything was going pretty good, and Satan tell me, now look at you, what you gonna do? Huh? Now, you let me go. You put me to the side. Now look at you. All that stuff that you done for God, all that cleaning and staying clean and not drinking and not drugging, not popping no pills and not having sex, not dealing with other people's husbands. He said, all that stuff. He said, now what you gonna do? And I laughed. I laughed because I knew the enemy was after me. In the peak of my recovery, in the peak of me doing everything right. I can't take a drink because most of the time when I hear bad news or devastation news or something like that, I would take a drink. I would go get high. I would do me some crack so I wouldn't have to feel none of that. I didn't want to feel. I didn't like feelings because I didn't like emotions. And then emotion bring on all the different feelings that you're going to deal with. I didn't like that. So I laughed and I said, okay. He right. Where my God at now? And I thought, he's still here. He ain't left me. He's still here. That's why I let Satan get in so I can put Satan out. Because you ain't did nothing good for me, because that ain't your purpose. Your purpose is to hurt, divide, to kill, and destroy. No. I let you in for a minute because of the news I had just heard. But guess what? You asked me, where your God at now? I went right back to sought through prayer and meditation. I went back to all that. Okay, God. Yeah, I let him in for a minute. But God, I didn't let him stay in. I didn't pick up. I didn't drink. I remember talking to my sister and my godmother at the time. I remember talking to people. I remember that I needed people around me that was going to strengthen me. I didn't need no negativity. I needed people around me that loved me, that genuine loved me. Because it was a struggle. Because I always heard when people got cancer, oh, you're going to die. People, and then the doctor told me, baby, Renee, my doctor and me was cool. Just like me and God was cool, my doctor was cool. I had 3 of them, and they was the best doctors in the world. And I still got them same doctors. And they said, Renee, people's can live with 1 kidney for years. Don't worry. We'll just take the whole kidney out since the cancer is right in the middle. If it was on the side, we can cut it off. But God didn't want it to be on the side. He didn't want it to be on the side. He didn't want it to be on the side. He wanted it to be in the middle. So they can take the whole kidney out. Because if it had been on the side, I wouldn't have let you cut it out anyway. Because then it would have spread. And eventually, years later, it would have come back. So I had a conscious contact with God like I do every day. I can sit in the church and be having a conversation with God. Because sometimes I'm be going through and sometimes I'm feeling a certain way and I'm watching what's going on. I'm an observer. It's funny when you've been doing crack, you don't care nothing about, when you're doing drugs, you don't care about who you hurt, what's around you, what you're going through. You don't care about none of that. But as soon as you get clean and you start having a conscious contact with God and you start having a connection and a spirituality, hey Susan, how you doing? Hey Tasha, how you doing, baby? A conscious contact with God, hey, things start happening. And you have to pay attention because these are little bitty gifts that comes in your life. Guess what? What? I ain't drinking. What? I got cancer. I can't go get high. Y'all telling me I can't go get high. I can't drink. I can't get high. I can't take no pills. I can't run no more. But I got a God that I got a connection with. Why should I give in now? He told me to trust him, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I kept going to meetings. I kept doing what I needed to do. Didn't tell nobody what I was going through, only the people that I loved. And I kept on marching. I kept on going because I knew God was going to do some great things for me. Because when he tell you to trust him, when God tell you to trust him, that's what you better do. You better learn how to depend and trust on the God of your understanding, because if anybody can make it work, it's him. He can open doors that people try to close on you, but hey, they're not closing. They wondering why you still here? Why you where you at? Why you ain't fail again? Why you ain't started using again? Why you ain't started drinking again? Why you ain't depressed no more? Why you ain't running from your problems and drinking? I got a man I can trust. I mean, in all areas of my life. I got a true man that I can trust. That's not going to break my heart. That's not going to lie to me. That's not always going to tell me the truth. That's always going to let me see things and feel things before it even happened. He talks to me. He shows me things. He tells me what to do. I lean and depend on my higher power for him to tell me what to do. If something ain't working out, Renee, get out. If I'm talking to a guy and they ain't seeming right, Renee, get out. And I'm a get out kid. Now, when I used to stay in and nurture you and let you do what you want to do to me or my friends do to me, I don't do that. Soon as I meet you and talk to you, and I'm still, I still, my hormones still kick. I'm still kicking it. Christmas I'll be 65 years old, only through the grace of God. It ain't had nothing to do with me. And so when I tell you that I found a man that would never leave me or let me go into something that's bad for me, I can't do nothing but win. I can't do nothing but win. I trust him to the fullest. I don't look at man. I don't trust man. Only thing I trust is God. I ain't going to mistreat you. I ain't going to hurt you. I ain't going to do none of that, because that can't get me to see my mama or my son. It can't get me there. If I'm holding and hearing resentments and still can't forgive you and still trying to hold on to stuff that happened to me, past is your past. But you learned something in your past that you don't have to bring to the present. You learn you don't have to drink and hide and stay on that depression mode. You don't have to do that no more. You ain't got to do it no more. And the one thing I learned about the 12 steps of this new journey of the Narcotics Anonymous program, it taught me the knowledge, how to go out and talk to people and tell them about the God of my understanding, how he have helped me in these steps. And I thank God. That's why I have so much gratitude and gratefulness about these steps. Because not only this step, the spiritual awareness, I needed this step. I needed this step. I knew how to let go. I knew I was tired of drinking and drugging. I knew how I was tired of lying, tired of sleeping around. All the ugly things I was doing, I was tired of that. But something still was missing as I was going through these meetings and doing the 90 day. Something was still meeting because I had not yet had the spirituality connection with God. I knew God was there. I knew he was there, but I hadn't let him all the way in. I was still trying to work a program, staying clean, not drinking, not using, no matter what, but still I hadn't let him in on some other things. And I had to let God of my understanding in. I mean, totally in. Totally. You're the closet. I can tell you everything. I ain't got to worry about you giving me no negative feedback or hating on me or don't like me no more or you don't want to be bothered with me. You've been in my closet all the time, but I had to find a way to get in that closet. I had to. Yes, I was going to find myself back out doing what I was doing. And I had to get in that closet. So through my spirituality, through me sought through prayer and meditation, it had me to get a connection with God, a personal deep level. Only two people can have. And I needed that. I needed that. Because I was carrying stuff from years. I was carrying hurt from years. I was carrying pain from years. I was carrying rejection from years. I was carrying other people's for years. I was always trying to fix, manage, and control everybody else, but I forgot about me. So now I'm at that point. Here I am, God. I ain't got nothing to hide. You the closet. You the closet that I've been hoping for. You the closet that opened up and allowed me to come in and tell you all my secrets, tell you everything about me, which you already knew, but you just wanted me to kind of say it. And I was okay with that. Because saying it helped me. Feeling it and feeling better helped me. Because now I released it. Now I got the knowledge of how to talk and go out and help another individual. Now I got the knowledge to carry the message out to other addicts and tell them that this program worked. And anytime that you doubt what I'm saying, try it. Like I did. Because I went through something. Being clean. Talking about who is these people to tell me I can't drink, I can't use no matter what. No matter what happened. How I lose my mother and then lost my son, then lost my boyfriend, then lost my goddaddy. But yet you telling me I can't take a drink. Okay, calm down, Renee, calm down. I'm in my feelings. I can't take a drink. I cannot use. I cannot isolate. Because isolate would get me to use. So, I just got to keep this conscious contact with God. Because, honey, God, you gave me my mother. And you, when you got ready for it, you took her back. But thank you, God, for allowing me all them years to have my mother. I had to turn all the negativity into something positively. I did. Because when you can't drink and use, and you've been doing that for 30 years, drinking and using drugs and using the deception of I can do what I want to do, when you got that attitude and all of a sudden you can't do what you want to do no more. You cannot do it. I had to learn how to nurture me because I was so broken. And even when we going clean, even when we go into these meetings and we clean, we still go through. Our kids still send us through. Our friends still send us through. Our thinking get hurt quicker because we clean than when we was using. Because see, when I was using, I give no doggone. I didn't care. But now, guess what? All that changed. From me, letting me get in God's closet and tell them these are all the things that I need to work on. So the only way I'm going to get help is getting to know who you are, who you really are. Not who they say you are, but who you really are. And that was the greatest gift that I've had in my whole life. Because I did want to see me get better. I did want to see me change. I did want to go on a new journey of forgiving and having peace and loving peoples and still giving to peoples in a certain way and not expecting to receive nothing in return. That was the whole gift. I can give you now and I don't need nothing from you. And I do that all the time. I do it in the store, on the street. I'ma always give because peoples that give, they blessings get more and more and more. So I've been a giver all my life. But now it's a difference since I'm clean. I can give you and not expect you to do the same for me. because it's not going to come from you. It's going to come from somebody else that God wants to bless me. So when I saw through prayer, I saw through something. I needed that man. I needed him more. I was fighting for my life. I needed him because I never wanted to go back and use. And I done been through things since I've been clean. Seemed like it was over and over. One by one happened. This happened. This happened. This happened. But I can't drink. I can't use. Only thing I can do is keep that conscious contact with God as I know him. And it's a personal relationship between you. So when you get on this step, you gotta seek for something. You gotta look for something. You sought through prayer. You asking God to open the doors for you and him to have a conscious contact with him, with God. And you have to understand how God works. You have to know how to work with God. You have to know how to let God come into your life and kind of do the drive. Remember I told you when I almost died, and he was like, Renee, you've been driving for 30 years. You've been using for 30 years. So, hey, guess what? You need to get out the way. Let me show you what I'm working with. Let me show you. If you get out the way, but still have that conscious contact with me, still gives me the heads up when something is going wrong in your life or something is going wrong in your body. If you trust me to just give it to me, you ain't doing the driving no more. You ain't doing the driving no more. Let me in. That's what I love about this stuff. It's a spiritual awareness. There's something you're going to go through, and it's going to free everything. It freed me. I even like me. Can y'all believe that? I like me. I'm in love with me. That's why I won't let nobody hurt me. That's why I stay my distance. That's why I don't bother nobody. That's why I got that relationship to him. When I get lonely or I get bored, I just have a talk with my high power. Start telling him how I'm feeling. Start telling him what I need. Even tell him a little bit of my wants. He's so good, he'll give you that too. So that's where I'm at in my life. People say, how you do it? How you do this? How you do that? It ain't a me. It ain't. And that's where people get confused. I ain't going to get big-headed and think it's me. Because it wasn't me that freed me. It was the God of my understanding and the 12 Steps of Narcotics Anonymous program that got me free. And now that I'm free, I ain't never going back. I would never pick up, and I didn't have so many deaths, and I'm not using, because if I use it, ain't going to bring them back. It's going to create more problems. It's going to make me feel like I deceived the God of my understanding. I lied to him. I manipulated. Oh, no, I can't do him like that. He been too good to me. I don't have no wants. Everything I ever wanted, I got. And that was the joy, the peace, the love, the forgiveness. I got it. Them was what I was missing. I was missing love. I was missing joy. I was missing the peace. I was missing feeling worthy. I was missing feeling like I had to love me. But I do in all areas of my life. Whatever God wants for me, I will get it. Whatever he don't want for me, he will remove it. That's how I look at life now. And I'm going to keep looking at life. But I'm so glad I'm not broken no more. I'm so glad because I get jealous. I used to get jealous and hold on to envy. If somebody could do this better than me, or somebody see somebody, they like what they do, then they get jealous. I ain't there. Never. Never. Because everything I told you today is everything I was and had been. But, and what I would not go back to. And that's using drugs, deceit, hurting people's, lying to people's, manipulating people's. A dressed up lie. Everything you see is going to be real on me because I'm real today. Only through the grace of God. That's only through him. only through the connection, only through that closet. He let me walk into his closet. And that closet had been closed a long time. And I'm so glad that he always welcomed all of us in that closet. And it's up for us to take heed to it. If nothing changed, nothing is going to change. Only we can change our destination, and only we can be the joy that we need to be for ourselves. We have to take responsibility of our own joy. We have to take a possibility of our own peace. We have to take a responsibility of trusting God no matter what's going on in our bodies, no matter what's going on in our minds. We have to trust a God that we can't see, but we know he's there. I can feel him all the time, but we have to trust a man that we can't see. So I trust him. And I can't even see him. But I know he's there. I know he loves me. I know he's taking care of me. You know, even through my health, even through my pain, even through my hurt, he's always been there. But I had to find the closet to get in to know who I was dealing with. Thank you, God, for letting me in. Thank you for allowing me to come into your closet, to drop all these bad habits, to understand that you are bigger than me. In summertime, my problems get too big, I can't handle them. I'm just giving it to you. Even the ones I can't handle, even the ones I want to handle, I'm giving it to you. I thank y'all so very much. We saw through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God, and as we understood him, praying only for the knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry the message. Now, I gave y'all a message today. It's what y'all gonna do with it. Because saw through prayer and meditation, you know, you tempted to find a desire to help you get better, you know, and get your life together. Conscious contact with God is only you and him. Only you. Take two people, you and him. You don't need nobody else in that conversation, nobody else, just you and him. That's enough. Meditation, do that daily. Do that. If you don't do it daily, try to do it at least 3-4 times out of a week. And that's how you still nurturing yourself and getting better. But anyway, I done went over a little bit. I get excited when I talk about the steps, especially when I talk about the God of my understanding and the 12-step program, because it have helped me grow. It have helped me nurture myself. It'll help you nurture yourself. It'll help you grow. You know, stay into finding a good word to help you in your daily life. And whatever somebody's struggling through, whatever y'all struggling through, whether it's sickness or pain you don't understand that's going on in your body, trust God. Because he'll send you where to go. He'll help you how to find. But just trust God. Don't lean on your own understanding. You know, just trust your high power for everything that happens in your life. And I promise you, he will carry you. Thank y'all so very much to all my viewers on the site and for the ones that comes on late at night, early in the morning. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for the one and for the ones that still struggling. Please find some kind of way to get help. Thank you for the emails. Thank you for the phone calls. But you have to surrender in order to see the problem. You have to give it over. Thank y'all for being a part of my process. I thank God for me being a part of your process. Y'all don't know what y'all do for me, because this helps me grow. This is what God told me to do, and I've been doing it ever since. I don't care if I'm on a trip. I don't care if I go this way. I don't care if I go this way. My devotion, because I am helping people that don't know how to read, or don't understand the steps, or don't understand life on life terms. They're still struggling. You know, I know what God can do, and you need to know what God can do. And the fellowship is the best thing that ever happened to my life. The 12 Steps of Narcotics Anonymous program. I hate this disease, and I'm going to continue to say that. And the long as I've been saying that, I ain't used yet. And I'm going to keep saying that. because this disease kills and destroys and separates families and loved ones and husbands and wives, and break up homes and get evicted, go to jail, or get real sick, or you die from an overdose of drugs and alcohol. This disease is very powerful, and it's very hurtful, and it takes everything from you and not let you grow at the same time. May God continue to bless you. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Tasha. Thank you, Carolyn. My sister Selena, Evangelist Selena Green. Auntie Wanda. Thank you, Chris. I thank you for all the other names that came up on Susan. It'd be good to see you one time, you and Godmama. A lot of y'all, everybody. Thank y'all so very much. Next, I will see y'all next Friday at 8 o'clock. We'll be on step 12. This is the step that did it all. And it's having a spiritual, come on, Renee, awakening as a result of these steps. We tried to carry the message to addicts and practice these principles in all our affairs. Now, this is the ending part. This is the good part. But every step saved my life. But this step comes from the first through the 11th steps. Now we at a whole new area in our life. So God bless y'all. Y'all continue to do something nice and kind for somebody. Thank y'all for listening to me. And may God continue to bless you. May I please ask God, whoever's here on this site tonight and whoever get on here later on, or who might not get on ever, still bless them that when they come on there, bless their families. God, I'm asking you for a special prayer for the ones that's going through something, that's struggling through health, that's struggling through cancer, that's struggling through hurt and pain. God, let them know that you belong to them and you will work it all out. Long as they trust you, bless their kids, their families, their grandkids, their nieces and nephews. And may they help another addict, or may they be a phone call away. But please try to help addicts when you see them, or help them find a way to get help for that disease. But I'm asking you for a special blessing for the ones that come up on this site, God. And you know me, I'm going to pray. I'm going to put your names in a jar, and I'm going to ask God to do something, come into your life and take away whatever you going through. And God, my God, thank you, God. May God continue to bless you, keep you, and see y'all next week. Have a good night.